McLane's funeral Tuesday. He died last week following a serious illness.
So we have work to do.
Premier Rob Lance pitched his plans for the year ahead at a chamber event in Charlottetown.
I think our budget will be in line with probably what we've seen in other provinces. We're in a very difficult fiscal cycle right now across the whole country. I think that's very evident from the other provinces we've seen come forward with their budgets. We're in no different position here, and we're taking a similar approach, I think, that we've seen in other jurisdictions.
The New Brunswick and Nova Scotia governments have announced deep cuts to programs and services. Lance had said previously, now is not the time for, in his words, fiscal shock therapy or extreme austerity.
We need to hold government to their word that they will not be severe cuts, and I think that's what Islanders are hopeful of. They're waiting with bated breath at the moment. If we find ourselves the way, Nova Scotia, when they made the cuts, those reactions here will be similar. There will be crowds in the front line of the legislature.
Getting Islanders access to health care will be the Green Party's focus.
I think finally we've started to see maybe government wake up and realize that the path over the last couple of years has been very detrimental. So if we can settle the issues with our frontline healthcare workers, then that'll help with retention, help with recruitment, and hopefully bring some more physicians and frontline workers here.
Doesn't make it easier.
Political watchers say the PECs desperately need a win, especially in healthcare.
They talk about the direction they're moving in. We're making progress. We're getting there. And the public is saying, really? I'm not seeing that right now. The waiting list still looks pretty bad. So they need something they can show, and they can say, look, this is what we said we're going to do, and we did it.
The first order of business Wednesday, they need to elect a new speaker. The last one, Sidney McEwen, is now in cabinet. PC backbencher Brad Trivers is hoping to get that nod. Then the PC government will lay out its plans and priorities for the year ahead in a throne speech. All sides say this will be a long session. Wayne Thibodeau, CBC News, Charlottetown.
As Wayne mentioned, the legislature is starting a day later than planned so MLAs can attend former Health Minister Mark McLane's funeral. It happens tomorrow. There is a private service and then a celebration of life, which is open to the public. It begins at 4 p.m. at the Delta Hotel in Charlottetown. The province is asking companies if they're interested in building a battery system to store electricity here. It's meant to help keep the island's power supply steady and reliable. The province wants enough battery storage to power thousands of homes.
Yet to be seen what exact capacity we're looking at here, but this is an interim measure, I think, along with our undersea cables that we're pursuing. To stabilize our energy systems here in Prince Edward Island.
The system could be spread out in a few different locations instead of built in just one place. The Premier says the price tag is not clear yet. Companies have until April 23rd to submit their ideas. Lance also told the Charlottetown Chamber of Commerce today the province has applied to the federal government for work on new undersea power cables linking P.E.I. to the mainland. 2 of the 4 existing cables are about 50 years old and they need to be replaced. Well, Jay Scotland is back, and Jay, while you were away, winter came back too.
Yeah, apparently. I didn't get that memo. It was quite a shock to see that it has indeed returned. I'm happy to be back, and before we dig into the forecast, I just want to assure folks it won't be a big digging out, at least as we look ahead to tomorrow, but some snow is on the way. It's March on P.E.I. I know it's spring, but spring is a subjective term in Atlantic Canada, at least early spring. Let's take a look at what we can expect over the next 24 hours. We do see that chance for flurries, mainly for central and eastern areas for the steadier periods of light snow tonight. Up west, just a scattered flurry chance for you, but some snow falling across the island tonight. Where we could see the heavier amounts will be more southern and eastern areas, and this is where 2 to local amounts over 4 centimeters possible. It's not a huge amount of snow, anywhere from a trace up west to maybe 4 centimeters down east, but that wind will be picking up tonight from the north into the morning hours, gusting 50, 60 kilometers per hour. That means even though there's not a lot of snow falling, what is falling and with what's already on the ground could impair visibility with blowing snow conditions. So just be mindful, although things will begin to improve gradually as that sky clears into the afternoon. Louise.
Okay, thank you, Jay. A third sentencing date has been scheduled for a retired P.E.I. Catholic priest. He has pleaded guilty to sexual assault, and his crimes go back to the late 1980s. Nicola McLeod was in court today.
A retired P.E.I. Catholic priest who sexually abused a boy nearly 40 years ago has been scheduled to be sentenced next month. It will be the third time the court has attempted to hold this type of hearing for Reverend Brendan Glant. The first time, he asked the judge if he could withdraw the guilty plea he had already entered. And then last week, a medical emergency. The court heard Gallant came prepared to go behind bars, but then his health took a turn, and the 80-year-old had to go to the hospital by ambulance. 6 months ago, he didn't show up to his first sentencing hearing. His lawyer instead said Gallant wanted to start the process to withdraw the guilty plea to sexual assault he had already admitted to. That never happened, and then Gallant got a new lawyer. The retired priest served in more than a dozen parishes throughout his career. The abuse in this case happened in St. Margaret's, where the victim was 12 years old, and Gallant took a special interest in him because of his difficult family circumstances. Gallant's new lawyer told the court they had reached an agreement with the Crown on a joint recommendation for a period of time in custody, but he didn't say how long that would be for. Typically, the judge looks at those proposals and accepts them as long as they're not against the public interest. The case will be back in court in early April. Nicola McLeod, CBC News, Charlottetown.
Now to the latest on an awful event that many Islanders have been following today in New York. 2 Air Canada pilots died in an overnight collision at LaGuardia Airport. A fire truck was crossing the runway as they were landing their plane. Katie Nicholson has the latest and a warning that viewers may find some of the video in this story disturbing.
The mangled wreckage tells part of the story, the nose sheared off. The collision between an Air Canada Jazz flight and a fire truck killed the 2 pilots and injured more than 40 people, including 2 firefighters.
We were honestly sleeping and then landing, and all of a sudden, boom, woke up in shock, just didn't know what to do.
We went down for a regular landing, and we came in pretty hard. We immediately hit something, and it was just chaos from there.
One of our friends was several rows back from us, and we walked past him on the way out because he was trying to find his glasses, and his nose was totally broken, bleeding on his face.
The fire truck had been dispatched to another plane, which had reported a strange odor, but ended up in the path of the Canadian jet.
Stop, truck 1. Stop. Stop, truck 1. Stop.
From air traffic control, 3 words that will no doubt play heavily in the investigation.
I messed up.
Exactly how this unfolded and what led up to this tragedy now under the microscope as Ian and American transportation officials comb over the evidence. The Transportation Secretary faced questions about how well staffed LaGuardia's air traffic control tower is. Chronic shortages have plagued America's airports.
This airport has a target of 37 controllers at LaGuardia. We have 33 controllers employed, certified at LaGuardia, and we have 7 actually that are in training. So as our airports go, LaGuardia is a very well-staffed airport.
Things are returning to normal at LaGuardia. Some flights have taken off, but the Transportation Secretary warns it will be operating at a reduced capacity as long as the wreckage remains on site for the investigation. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, New York.
Some churches on Prince Edward Island are renovating to make themselves more accessible. They're looking to accommodate all kinds of needs, but working on churches that are more than 100 years old comes with quite a few challenges. Taylor O'Brien explains.
This 113-year-old church just got a modern upgrade. Zion Presbyterian Church recently installed an accessible lift to take people between all 3 of its floors and makes the entire building accessible.
We have people who have trouble with stairs who have been able to go downstairs. We have people who are in wheelchairs who have been able to go downstairs and upstairs. It's just been wonderful.
Heckbert says some people with mobility issues couldn't go to events that are held in the basement. Now with the new lift, he says it's gratifying to know there's no physical barrier preventing people from attending.
As a church, we should be welcoming and accessible to everybody. And now that we have the lift, I feel that we're getting a lot closer to that.
Other churches are also becoming more accessible. At the Kirk of St. James, some of the pews have been removed to make more space for those who use walkers or wheelchairs. Services are streamed online, and work is underway to make the bathrooms accessible and gender neutral. But renovating a 147-year-old church can be challenging.
We have this beautiful space, but we also want it to be accessible. And that also means kind of working within the parameters of what we have. So figuring out how we do things with limited space and what that looks like can be really challenging and really costly.
Henderson Bolton says just upgrades on the bathrooms cost a couple $100,000, but it's a commitment worth making because the congregation feels it's important for everyone to go to church.
I think accessibility has come to mean a lot for us holistically. Like, how do we welcome families? We make a space for them in our family nook. And how do we make sure people online can connect? It's by upgrading equipment. And so all of those pieces, we want them to be in place so that people can feel like this is a safe space to come.
Henderson Bolton says she knows there will always be more work to be done and will continue to make the Kirk of St. James a welcoming and safe space for everyone. Taylor O'Brien, CBC News, Charlottetown.
Members of the Filipino community came together for a special basketball tournament over the weekend. This is the second year for it. There were 3 teams and more than 100 players and fans. People who took part say basketball is a sport that is loved in the Philippines. The tournament is a way to connect with others and build friendships on and off the court.
I met a lot of new people, and there's a lot of new communities here in Montague, so it's a good time. It's all Filipino, so it's like some people you know and some are new, so it's good though. It's good to meet new people, new members of the community. You don't want to be alone, left out in a new environment and everything, so being with somebody that plays sports with you and share laughs and share ball and also share laughter and everything, so it's very, very good. It's very, very important.
The basketball tournament was born after an event a few years ago which featured food and games within the Filipino community. The hope is to have it be an annual event. Well, it was a brisk day, a chilly day to go for a walk out of Victoria Park, but check out the ice. They're like little mini icebergs. I mean, you can't compare them to what you might see in, say, Newfoundland, Labrador, but pretty cool to see. Safe to say they'll be sticking around for a little while because winter's made a return appearance. After the break, we'll have Jay Scotland and his full weather forecast. Stay with us.
I'm Mitch Cormier. Coming up Tuesday on Island Morning, it's a romantic notion, a note inside a bottle, tossed into the waves, and you just wait. Well, it turns out 2 years ago, somebody tossed a note off the Magdalen Island ferries. It's been found by a man in Aberdeen, Scotland. Mike Scott's trying to find the owner. We'll meet him next time on Island Morning.
Welcome back. Well, Jay Scotland is back just in time for winter.
Oh, I know. Spring is it's a journey.
Sprinter.
Yeah, it's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's a slow process to get to summer.
Yeah.
You know what Steve Bruce asked me today over on Main Street? What day should I get my winter tires off?
Ooh.
June 1st.
Too soon.
Yeah, it is too soon right now. But not too soon to start thinking about booking the appointment. I will say that. Should clarify. There's a look at the wind right now. It's not a huge amount of snow tonight, Louise. As we look to maybe southern Kings County, this is where 3 over 4 centimeters possible. It's more to do with that wind picking up. It's from the northeast right now, sustained 30 over 40 kilometers per hour. So even light flurries with some snow down on the ground can result in areas where, exposed areas, you see reduced visibility just with blowing and drifting snow conditions, and that is likely into tomorrow morning as well. The flurries will begin to arrive through the evening hours, and then for more eastern areas, steadier snow is actually going to fall tonight. And this will not be a heavy, wet snow like we saw on Saturday. We have cooler air in place. That temperature right now sitting between -2 and -3. Factoring in the wind chill, actually feels already around or even below, in some cases, -10. This will be a lighter, fluffier snow, which means fairly easy for that wind to interact with those falling snowflakes. So keep that in mind. Already starting to see, it's not falling yet, but we're starting to see upper level. We're starting to see some of that moisture arriving. That atmospheric moisture will result in some flurry activity later this evening, and we will watch for the steadier snow really to follow the track of the system, which is to our south and east. You can already see they have advisories in place for a large swath of eastern Nova Scotia along the Atlantic coast. You can already see that steady snow falling there. For us, it's just some off and on flurries, but more southern and eastern areas get into just the edge of that steadier snow. It's not a huge amount, but that wind coming in from the northeast to north through the overnight hours tonight, sustained 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, gusting to 50 or 60K. It's not wind warning criteria wind, but it's enough with a light fluffy snow that we could be looking at some blowing and drifting. Now, by mid-morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, those flurries for Eastern Kings should just be winding down, possibly earlier for more central areas, and you may even avoid any morning flurries up west. As we look to the afternoon, you can see that sky does eventually clear, so we'll say it's a gradual clearing trend through the day. The wind will be easing through the second half of the day as well, but again, everything winds down gradually. It's not big weather by any stretch. But if you have to be anywhere early in the morning, just know that blowing snow could be an issue, but your conditions will be a lot better for the afternoon as those sun breaks become more frequent and that wind does drop off. And as we look to your Wednesday, starting out with a mix of sun and cloud in the morning, then those clouds do thicken up, and I can't rule out a few wet flurries, possibly mixing with some rain showers. Temperatures will be between 0 and around +2 for a daytime high on Wednesday. That will not be the case tomorrow. We'll stay quite cold, and wait till you see Saturday's daytime high temperature. Man, oh man, March is an interesting month here in Atlantic Canada. So through the overnight hours tonight, we'll see those temperatures generally staying between -3 and -5 with that brisk wind from the northeast to north. It will feel below -10, likely -11, -12 for most areas with the wind chill into the early morning hours. And then daytime highs tomorrow between -1 and -3. A seasonal high would be 2 degrees on the plus side. We're certainly not there. And with the wind, it'll feel anywhere from -8 to -12, even during the afternoon tomorrow. Central and eastern areas, you can see that steadier snow falling. It's not heavy, but it will be blowing with that strong wind, which will make -3 to -4 feel into the low -teens, between -2 and -3 into the afternoon tomorrow, still feeling near or even below -10 with the wind chill, because it will be windy tomorrow. Flurries should wrap up in the morning. Could see a few wet flurries, possibly some mixing on Wednesday, and then we see some steadier precipitation, snow, but then mainly rain on Thursday with that temperature on the plus side. And into that long-range outlook, temperature falls again Friday and really drops off for the weekend, a high of just -7 on Saturday. Let's take a look at our first photo for you now. Kim sending this one in. She says this was taken on the first day of spring. And it looks it. Well,
the first day of Sprinter.
First day of Sprinter. It's a 3-season province. Well, there's some spring. It just falls on a few days.
It does look more like
late
Christmas.
Yeah, it looks like a Christmas photo. It is beautiful, though. If you want to share your photos with us, drop them into our inbox. That address is compass@cbc.ca. Louise?
All right, thank you. Coming up, IREX oversees a lot of what islanders use every day, from gasoline and heating oil, electricity rates, rent. The organization says it wants to connect more with islanders, so it's launched its first newsletter. We'll speak to the CEO of IREX after the break. The Island Regulatory and Appeals Commission wants to connect with Islanders more. So it's launched a newsletter with the goal of providing people updates on the work IRAC is doing. And for more, I am joined by the CEO of IRAC, Pam Williams. Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you. Thanks for having me.
And we were just talking about this. It's just nearly a year that you've been in this role.
It's hard to believe. The time has flown by, but yeah, coming on a year.
Are you enjoying it?
It's definitely been challenging getting to know the team. It's a great team, lots of areas we cover. It's a very broad mandate.
Yes.
But yeah, every day's a new day, so it's good.
Well, speaking of that broad mandate, what was the reason for this newsletter? This is a quarterly newsletter that launched last month.
I think one thing the team has noticed over the last year, there's been a lot of new faces at IRAC this last year, is the amount of misinformation that may be out there, filling in some gaps. And although we have a lot of information on our website, maybe we have too much. So we decided we were going to try a newsletter to kind of put out more poignant pieces of things that matter to Islanders, that maybe they could digest it in an easier form.
Yeah, tell me more about what people can find in the newsletter.
Well, with our first winter issue, we talk about, ironically, petroleum prices, which have been a very important topic to Islanders, and obviously with the global markets, been hard to really anticipate the swings. But it details how we calculate the price every week, which has now moved to biweekly just in order to keep up with the fluctuations. We also outline our docket system so people can follow along to see what is exactly before IRAC and when are our hearings going to be scheduled. And then there is a section on electricity around the ECAM application, which is the adjustment that currently the utility is looking for.
Is it part as well of an effort to be a little bit more transparent about the work you do?
Yeah, I think so. We were trying to do a couple of things, like tipping our toe into that water a little bit, that, we started with a LinkedIn account and now the newsletter. We also did our first plain language summary on a decision in the fall to help people understand. Some of the areas are quite technical and hard to follow and lengthy.
Yeah.
And the other thing internally we're working on is establishing some benchmarks that maybe we can measure ourselves better with. So for instance, we've kind of soft launched on our rental appeals, trying to get those decisions out within 30 days, with the goal being maybe at the end of the year, if we've done that 80% of the time, that's not bad. So now we're going to look at, well, what can we do with planning appeals, and then try and take each division to see if we can introduce some improvements, and hopefully then share those expectations with Islanders, and they can see the work that we are doing.
So as I mentioned, the newsletter launched in February. Have you had any feedback yet?
Yeah, for the most part, positive. We're pushing up to 900 subscribers, so that's great.
That's pretty good.
And, we're going to look to get it out quarterly and hope just some of that information. I know we won't move all the markers all at once, but if we can break it down so that some people understand a little bit more that what goes on behind the doors of IRAC, I think it'll be helpful.
Obviously, a lot of attention these days on fuel prices.
Yes.
Because of the volatility that is completely out of your control, that part of it. The biggest question I think I get for you is, why do we pay more for gas here than on the mainland, say in New Brunswick? Is there an easy way? I know that there's a breakdown. You go over that on the newsletter, but is there an easy way here to tell people why we do pay more for gas?
Well, I think the easiest, and this is high-level general, but if you think about how fuel is delivered to Prince Edward Island, it comes by tanker into the Charlottetown terminal to the tank farms. Right. So it's expensive to get that fuel here, and we have to pay for those costs that come in at the rack rate, which is what we base our pricing on. The other piece is Nova Scotia and New Brunswick have ethanol blends, and that has driven down their price. I think around 7 cents a liter. We don't have the ability to blend at the Charlottetown terminal. So for the most part, there's no ethanol blends on Prince Edward Island, which also impacts the cost.
No, you can't do anything about that. No. What would have to happen to make?
Well, that would be an infrastructure decision way beyond the mandate of the commission. But for folks to know, we are currently undergoing a margin review process with respect to petroleum, which also includes taking a look at our model. And we will be going out to public comment probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks for people to if they want to engage in that process.
And this is the profit margin for the retailers
Profit margin,
and
but
the
also
wholesaler?
and how we calculate the price.
Okay.
So industry's already been engaged and has been working with an independent expert that we have hired.
The government has announced it will be conducting a comprehensive review of IRAC. How is that work has not started yet, I don't think, but if it has, what role do you play in accommodating that review?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. We haven't been notified that anything has started. Obviously, we would be accommodating, but in the meantime, we are kind of doing our own internal review because I think we need to make sure the expectations of Islanders, that they understand what we're doing. Yeah.
Do you feel that was lacking? So you've come in as a new leader, that is a priority for you, is to be better understood by people, explain the decisions?
Oh, completely, yes. I think a few things have changed. All of a sudden, maybe 10 years ago, the electricity file and even gas prices weren't front of mind for folks, but affordability is a real issue, and we need to do a better job in helping people understand the decisions and why they're being made.
Really appreciate your time tonight. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
As we go to break, here's a look at the current temperatures across the country. -3 right now in Charlottetown. And we will be back with our community and the national and international news for you after this.
Well, every year the Winslow players come in, and Gordon, you draw the short straw, right?
I draw the short straw.
I say who's going to do the talking, and you say who's going to volunteer, and what happens?
I asked everybody who wants to speak this year, and nobody volunteers.
Nobody volunteers, so you get voluntold, essentially.
Told to do it. I told to do it.
I'm going to make them speak anyway because I want some introduction. So, because this is going to be a play. It's a musical, right?
No, it's no musical.
I know it's not a musical, but what did you say earlier when I asked?
Do any of us look like we can drink dance?
Yeah, well, I mean, do you want me to answer that one honestly? You meant sing, right?
We can all drink, but none of us, I don't know how to dance anyway.
There was a correlation between the quality when it comes to drinking and singing. All right, so we'll get some introductions and the name of the character you're playing.
I'm Ali, and I play Orn.
Okay.
Diane, and I play Lucy Large.
And I hear that you have a large amount of content. Every page, you're on every page of the script, I'm told.
Well, not everyone, but a lot of them.
Okay, because everyone here said that not only do you know your own lines, but you know everybody else's?
Got to do that.
All right. All right. All right. And you are?
Mike McGinnon playing Elmer Shaw.
Okay. And is this your first time?
Yes, it is.
Oh, so first time on the stage. You've been a theater group for 30 years now?
No.
No, not you. No.
Joan Reeves, and I play Maggie.
Okay.
Carrie Morris, and I play Tammy Little.
Line? All right.
Joy McIntyre, and I play Olga Krex.
And who are you playing?
I wish I could say that I'm in the play, but I'm best behind the scenes.
Meredith, of course, you're from the QEH Fund, because this is a fundraiser for the QEH Fund. Is there a particular piece of medical equipment that the foundation is saving up for with this year's campaign?
Well, I'm not sure if you know this, but we have an $8.2 million goal this year that we need to raise for the equipment needed at the hospital. So every department is basically on that list, but highlights would be specifically in the NICU and pediatric care. So this amazing community group comes together and gives their generous time to the QEH Foundation, and we are very, very grateful to them all.
And we can't say the amount because you'll find out on opening night, but it's 6 figures that has been raised.
Oh, it's a large amount of money that they have raised so far this year. So you have to be there to see how much they've raised. So come on April 22nd and you'll be able to hear the amazing total that they've raised.
All right, now the name of the play, because every year it's a different play. Gordon, I'm putting you on the spot here. What's the name of the play?
For the Love of Flowers.
All right, and is it a love story?
A little bit of romance.
Is there a lot of comedy?
Yes, sir.
All right, and if you want to get your tickets, you've already met the cast. You know it's for a great cause. 4 locations to get them. Where do I get those tickets?
Crowd shoes. I don't want to get it wrong. Winslow Irvin, the clothes red and white, and Hampshire and the foundation at the hospital. And all these cast members have tickets too.
They've got tickets on them, so you can always stop a cast member as well. Carrefour Theater, April 22nd to 25th. All the shows start at 7:30, and all the information can be found at qehfoundation.pe.ca. Just check out the events page there. And if you'd like to stop by, all you have to do is drop us an email, peicommunity@cbc.ca.
Donald Trump says the U.S. and Iran have held talks on, quote, the complete and total resolution of hostilities in the Middle East. But Iran says there haven't been any talks, so it's hard to know what the truth is or what lies ahead. Sasha Petrusik has more.
Just hours before Donald Trump's deadline was set to kick in, hours before he'd promised to attack Iran and destroy its power-generating infrastructure, Trump issued a couple of statements which seemed to change all that. He said that over the last couple of days, there were very good and productive conversations between the U.S. and Iran, and that raised the possibility of the total resolution of hostilities in the Middle East. And as a result, those attacks would be put on hold for 5 days, and the talks would continue. Now, U.S. media is quoting government officials there as saying that there had been indirect conversations, talks between the U.S. and Iran using mediators from Turkey, from Egypt, and from Pakistan, and that's how we got to this stage. Now, Iranian media, the government news agencies, are reporting that officials there are saying there have been no talks, either direct or indirect, and that the U.S. is just simply responding to Iranian threats of their own if, in fact, the U.S. did attack. Iran had said that if the attack went ahead, that if the U.S. did up its military action against Iran, that it would entirely close the Strait of Hormuz and that it would send missiles out targeting its neighbors in the Gulf states even more than they have so far. The U.S. had said that Iran had to open the Strait of Hormuz, otherwise it would go ahead with those attacks. So there's been a lot of back and forth on this, a lot of confusion also from Donald Trump, because he's issued actually conflicting statements over the last 2 days. Some suggesting that this U.S. military action, the war, was actually winding down, and others threatening Iran even more with these various attacks and sending Marines on ships sailing toward the region, suggesting some kind of a ground operation there to go ahead with the air and naval operation. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Jerusalem.
In what the British Prime Minister is calling a deeply shocking anti-Semitic arson attack, 4 ambulances belonging to a Jewish charity were set on fire overnight. Authorities say oxygen cylinders on the vehicles exploded, shattering windows in a nearby London building. Security footage showed 3 people in hooded jackets approaching before the ambulances were engulfed in flames. No injuries were reported, no arrests have been made, but a group described as an Iran-aligned collective claimed responsibility online. That claim has not been confirmed. Canada's Auditor General is sounding an alarm about international student visa holders. An audit shows about 150,000 may not be complying with the terms of their study permits, and the Immigration Department is failing to investigate the vast majority. Rafi Boudjikanian has more.
Thank you, and welcome to the National Press Theatre.
What's concerning for me is that the department isn't acting on the information that it has.
It's been 2 years Ottawa started its crackdown on international student admissions. Now the Auditor General says though the Immigration Department is finding potential fraud, it's rarely following through.
Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada reduced the number of new study permits issued, but fell short in other key areas.
Karen Hogan found some 800 students between 2018 and 2023 were approved for permits with bogus documents or after providing misinformation. About half of them able to stay by applying for other immigration permits. In 2023 and 2024, some 150,000 cases of potential fraud were flagged, but the IRCC only investigated 2,000 of them per year due to lack of funding, it said.
Closing a file because a student stops communicating with you is not uncovering whether or not they are actually following the conditions of their permit. Their powers can be something as simple as putting a warning on a file, so that the next time the individual applies for something, you can apply more rigor at that point.
Oral questions. Questions orales.
What a dumpster fire. Is the minister content putting fraudsters in the driver's seat of Canada's immigration system?
Thank you for that member's performance there. With regards to the Auditor General, we welcome that report and we agree that strong oversight helps improve the international student program. We will improve how cases are flagged and prioritized and will consistently follow up on potentially non-compliant students.
The minister also says their department's focused on identifying organizers of coordinated fraud, but she would not specify whether the IRCC is dedicating more funding to those efforts. Rafi Boudjikanian on CBC News, Ottawa.
Well, it's been nearly 4 months since Australia's historic social media ban for children under 16. Advocates say it's working and helps protect children from online harm, but some parents say the ban is really not very effective. Other countries, including Canada, are also considering similar laws. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson has more.
This Australian radio broadcaster and father of 3 poured his passion for his children into advocacy for age restriction for social media use.
The strangers that you wouldn't welcome into your house are being welcomed onto their screens.
At the end of last year, Australia became the first country to ban social media for teens under 16, a move the government said was necessary to stem harms like the addictive nature of the platforms, cyberbullying and mental health impacts.
This means from 10 December, these services must take reasonable steps to prevent under 16s from holding accounts.
3 months into the ban, Michael Whipley says it brought about some positive changes.
You know, I have mums messaging saying, today we played in the backyard as a family. We threw a ball and created a ridiculous game we've never done before because we haven't spent the time doing that because the kids are off the screen.
But not everyone thinks the ban is working.
We instead have policed our kids, parented our kids online always. We didn't notice any difference.
Kate Gotham's eldest, now 16, was 15 at the time the ban kicked in.
Tell me, Ilyas, for you, how difficult or easy was it to access social media while you were still 15?
I heard that people had to scan their faces and stuff, but I never had to do that.
Experts say whether the ban is working or not will be seen in longer term. And watching that Aussie experiment with eager eyes, Canadians who say we need some sort of restrictions here, including Jenny Perez.
We know about what happened with tobacco, with drunk driving, and many other topics that require the norm to change. Things change only if we all as a society step up, including parents, schools, leaders of the community, and government.
When asked, Prime Minister Mark Carney said that a possible age restriction on social media use in Canada merits a parliamentary debate. But internationally, the momentum is growing. Indonesia's under-16 restrictions are kicking in this week, and France's are just awaiting Senate approval. Deanna Sumanek-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Alberta is shutting down 2 more supervised consumption sites. Those are places where people can take illegal hard drugs under a watchful eye as a way to reduce poisoning deaths. It's not the only province taking such measures. Sam Sampson takes us to an Alberta community that lost its site a year ago to see what the impact has been there.
Helping them inject drugs is not helping people. That's putting poison into their arms.
Alberta's stance on addiction is clear. Harm reduction hurts, recovery heals. The province is closing supervised consumption sites in Lethbridge and Calgary, instead funding treatment and detox centers, which it says will increase public safety.
People within the community that have a right to walk down the street and not inhale secondhand crystal meth smoke.
The province has closed other sites, including in Red Deer a year ago. A government-funded study published in a peer-reviewed journal suggests there's been no statistically detectable increase in opioid-related deaths since that site closed, though it says its results are inconclusive.
We have one study that is standing in contrast to a large body of research that shows that these sites are helpful, and I don't think it's ever wise to make policy decisions of this magnitude based on a single study.
Those working in addiction services stress the need for options.
There's more investment into recovery beds, that's great too, but it shouldn't come at the cost of the services that are the entryway into that programming either. I think we need the full spectrum.
What should people in Lethbridge and Calgary be prepared for now that these sites are closing?
I think they should definitely be prepared for increased public drug use. Removing services won't change whether or not people are going to use drugs. They have to become more creative and more discreet in how they're going to be doing that.
Ontario also recently cut funding to supervised consumption sites. Without staff to test drugs, critics warn of consequences.
The drug supply keeps changing. It can change in Ontario at a blink of an eye. And you might see spike in overdoses. So again, having these sites is very helpful and crucial to mitigate some of these changes that often do happen.
Alberta's changes leave the province with 3 supervised consumption sites, including 2 in Edmonton. All sites, the province says, are under review. Sam Sampson, CBC News, Edmonton.
A Coca-Cola bottling company recently fired an Alberta factory worker after he suffered a serious workplace injury. In a 5-minute phone call, the man was told he was out of a job after 35 years with the company. Rosa Marcatelli of Go Public has more.
This is where Sean Hopkins has landed. He's being retrained through Workers' Compensation Alberta to type with one hand, hoping to find a new job. That's after Coca-Cola Canada Bottling Limited terminated him from his factory job of 35 years after he was badly injured at work.
I don't know that I've seen any postings for one-handed typing.
2 years ago, the 57-year-old's shoulder joint was ripped from its socket when a 900-kilogram overhead sliding door he was operating malfunctioned, he says.
Insane pain. Yeah, it was really, really bad pain.
He says he had repeatedly warned his supervisor and the maintenance department about the problem, but it wasn't fixed. When asked about that, Coca-Cola Bottling did not answer the question. An even bigger shock came this February. Hopkins says in a 5-minute phone call with the company, he was told he's out of a job, terminated. No benefits, no severance.
Not even a handshake. 35 years, not even a handshake.
The company points to a rarely used legal principle. It's called frustration of employment, and it allows a company to terminate a worker if continuing to employ them would cause undue hardship to the company.
I find it absolutely abhorrent.
This labor and human rights lawyer says frustration is hard to prove, especially with a company of more than 6,000 employees that just opened a new $75 million high-tech facility in Calgary.
I have a really hard time believing that there's no work throughout this entire organization.
Coca-Cola Bottling, which says it operates independently from Coca-Cola Company, says it works with medical professionals, Workers' Compensation Alberta, and the union to find other jobs for injured employees within the company, but couldn't find anything for Hopkins. Adding it followed Alberta labor laws. It says it's now up to Workers' Compensation to support Hopkins.
How do you treat somebody like that that's given you 35 years?
Hopkins is trying to recover, if that's possible. He doesn't know yet. He's fighting the termination through his union. Rosa Marcatelli, CBC News, Calgary.
Well, investors liked what they heard from Donald Trump saying that the talks went well with Iran, although we just heard there that Iran said there were no talks. So they digested that as positive news in terms of the war. The TSX was higher by 566, the Dow up 631, NASDAQ up 299. The Canadian dollar today traded on average the same as it did on Friday, so 72.90 cents US. And look at that, the price of crude down $10.10 to 88.13 US a barrel. Well, here's another view of Iceberg Alley in Victoria Park. We showed you some footage of this earlier. I said, obviously, you can't compare it to like Newfoundland and
St.
Labrador.
Anthony.
But, I mean, it is look like little ice islands out there. This is this photo from Pierre Duron. So another view of Victoria Park, looking at the Charlottetown Harbor's Iceberg Alley this morning.
Nice to see the boardwalk ice-free, by the way.
Yeah.
That can be a bit slippery this time of year. So.
But it looks cool.
It does.
I mean, it does look cool.
You just got to pretend they're off in the distance, and it's kind of the same experience as heading up to northern Newfoundland, right?
Perspective is everything.
Yeah.
But certainly, you know, we've just had such a wild yo-yo pattern of weather this winter.
Yeah.
And here we are back with more snow, potentially.
Mm-hmm. And then on the plus side, Thursday, Friday, and then by Friday afternoon, and then into Saturday, -7 for a daytime high.
Brisk.
Let's take a look at our daytime high today. -2, which is well off that seasonal average, although seasonal averages in the shoulder season actually rarely happen. But it was cold today. Will be cold tomorrow. That -4 will feel near or below -10, factoring in that brisk, very gusty wind in the morning. Snow should wrap up, but blowing snow could be an issue even into the early afternoon until that wind begins to really drop off.
You know, it just feels like
I'll clean up my desk.
we had that little glimmer of hope, right?
Yeah.
With the no, you're just the messenger.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for watching tonight. The condensed version's on at 11 tonight. Have a great evening. Good night, PEI.